Hi, how's it going? Welcome to Encyclopedia of Santiago, a channel dedicated to urbanism, architecture, and the fascinating places of the Chilean capital. I'm Andres Sokolov and I'm in Pudahuel. Do you think I'm having my tea in just any old building? Well, you're wrong, because this is the Momentum prototype, a 6-story building that was put up, get this, in just 9 hours. And it's located in a wonderful place, guys, which is the CTEC Innovation Center, the technological center for innovation in construction. And in this video, I'm going to show you this real neighborhood of the future like no one else has. Let's get started. The CTEC Innovation Center, a unique place in Latin America where the boldest fantasies of the construction industry become reality and are put to the test to perhaps become our future. This project, launched in 2017 through cooperation between Corfo and 7 Chilean universities, has today become the main platform for digitizing and prototyping the homes of the future. I'd like to introduce my guide, Daniela Vasquez, who's going to show us around this technological mini-city. Hey Danny, where are we? This seems like such an interesting place, a real little neighborhood of innovative housing.
Yes, well, we're at the CTEC Innovation Park, the Technological Center for Innovation in Construction. We're dedicated to supporting companies so that they can manage their change, their transition towards digital transformation, sustainability, and innovation.
A laboratory neighborhood.
Exactly, it's where this neighborhood has already taken shape, where we can test on a real scale everything we can then go and do on real construction sites.
How many houses, how many buildings do you have here in this area?
Today we have about 20 solutions already built, but within each one of them there are many more, so we already have about 60 companies or entities that are collaborating and making innovation present here.
Shall we go and take a look at some of the projects to show them? What do you think?
Yes, obviously.
Let's go. The length of this video, unfortunately, doesn't allow me to show you all 20 initiatives, so we decided to focus on the projects linked to the Build Zero program. Very important for Chile today because of the climate change we're experiencing. Build Zero seeks to transform the construction industry, accelerating both technological and sustainable development, as well as its transfer to social and commercial housing. And please guys, don't forget that all the buildings I'll show you from now on are prototypes, not real houses.
We're arriving at one of the first solutions for this building with industrialized facades that we've created with the company CTEC. In this project, well, CTEC managed to implement a butterfly table that allowed them to transform their industrialization plant in a much better way. These aren't concrete houses. The logic is that they're industrialized facades where the solution, well, arrives directly and is based on CTEC's metal-con solution. Therefore, we have a facade that arrives and is mounted onto a metal or concrete structure that we might already have on site.
What is the main advantage of this solution?
Time savings, I mean, this entire building was assembled in one day, so we can already reduce time and quickly assemble the main structure. Thanks to assembling it here in the park, we're also conducting tests, especially regarding thermal and acoustic behavior, and where we're currently taking measurements to compare, well, what the software simulations say versus how it actually behaves. And that has allowed us to validate it in the market.
Danny, and walking through this city of innovations, we've come across some contemporary sculptures. What are they about?
No, they're not sculptures. Andre, look, they're not works of art.
They're not works of art.
What they are test specimens we've worked on with 3D printing, creating solutions that allow us to validate this construction system for new uses, such as social housing eventually. We know there's a cost gap there, but the first thing we had to do was make sure the system worked in Chile, mainly because of all our seismic issues. So what we did was work on about 60 test specimens, some of which are still here, plus those that failed. We've already worked with EDM to test them, and all the fire, acoustic, thermal, tensile, and compression tests were done to see how these solutions or this printing method could be brought to reality. Here we worked with Acciona, with whom we brought a robotic arm to Chile, and mainly with Melon, developing different mixes so we could actually achieve these textures. And so the solution, for example, this wall could be completely built in 45 minutes.
Last year, I showed you the first concrete printed house in Chile, a project by the University of Bio Bio. What's the difference between the seed house and this new initiative? Well, in the case of Concepcion, the house, its structural elements, its walls, were printed inside the laboratory and then brought to the site to be assembled, thus finishing the project and presenting the seed house. In this case, all the elements that we can see in this installation were printed right here on this very site. And so they were able to show that the technology does work even in Chilean conditions, that we can bring a 3D printer, a robotic arm, and print everything we want.
Well, this is our next stop. We are at the Momentum building. Well, it's been quite famous lately. It's a building that was assembled in just 9 hours while we were doing, for example, the assembly. The company was working on that. We organized visits. People from the industry came to see how the process was carried out.
In the Momentum building, I'm going to show you 2 apartment prototypes. The first one is right behind me. Let's go inside. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. Here we have the first one, quite spacious, and here are 2 more. One over here, with a small balcony similar to the first one, and actually there's another one over there as well. Let's see it. Here we have a bathroom. Well, it has no fixtures because it's a prototype. It's not a real apartment. No one is going to live here. And here we pass through a small storage room, although it has a window. And now we enter the living and dining room, which features an integrated kitchen. Here you will find the kitchen sink, and this area is the living room. An absolutely incredible view. How wonderful, I love it. Now we're going up to the 5th floor to see a duplex apartment that you're going to love. I just got up to the 5th floor, and here is the duplex apartment. Please look, it's beautiful. It's huge. In fact, they told me they held a real architectural competition to design this building and also put together a kind of penthouse. First, the living dining room, which is enormous, it's giant. Now we're in the kitchen area, also with a balcony just like the living room. A guest bathroom. One more tiny little balcony in that part. And there's the staircase we're going to climb to go to the 2nd floor of the apartment. We're going up, and first here we have a fairly large space that can serve several purposes. I don't know, to set up a small family library, for example, or use it to store things, whatever. Here we are entering a bathroom. Look how spacious it is. Well, it doesn't have fixtures yet because remember, this house, this building is a prototype, and now we're entering the master bedroom. Wow, the master bedroom is huge. And here we have 2 more bedrooms. Let's see what they're like. They're like this. Quite spacious because I think a twin-size bed fits in here along with a desk. And here we move to the 2nd one, and it's practically the same. It has its own little balcony, a window, and I even think a full-size bed could easily fit in here. The apartment is really great for a prototype. Man, I'd live here. Assembling a 6-story tower in just 9 hours was possible thanks to a Mecano solution from Facoro, which allows for the manufacture of complete modules and thus saves time on site. Now let's go to the factory to see how these revolutionary 3-dimensional modules are actually made.
This warehouse here, as you can see, is our industrialized production line for 3-dimensional concrete modules. As you can see here, you can see the scale of the steel quantities this has and the extremely high resistance levels. And you can also see the grout tube system, which are those corrugated steel tubes you see, which are the ones that later Once we assemble our building on site with this system, it allows us to run continuous steel bars from the top floor to the foundation, creating a continuous structural reinforced concrete pillar, which will obviously provide us with and give us the final guarantee of resistance.
The speeds are impressive. If the concreting finishes in the afternoon, by the next morning, the block is already ready for inspection and transport. To be completely sure that it's viable and durable, the company built 2 prototypes. One with 3 floors in the plant's storage yard, and the other is the Momentum building itself.
What we have to do before facing the real industry is take the technology and put it to the ultimate test. One of them was the height we had by calculation, which was 6 floors, and we said we have to reach 6 floors. Then, besides that, we have to make the structural configuration complex, so that a 6-story building structurally provides an absolute guarantee that the system will behave like a traditional reinforced concrete building. And as you can see in the Momentum project, each floor is different from the others. So the structural continuity it has from the top floor to the foundation is very little. And even so, the strength holds up without any problem.
Prefabrication doesn't just help save time and lower construction costs. It's also much friendlier to nature and the project's surroundings.
The way reinforced concrete constructions are conceived today, they'll become increasingly complex and unsustainable from the perspective of how projects are executed, where there's obviously a very significant reliance on labor. We also all understand that construction is one of the main culprits for generating waste and pollution within cities, not to mention the impact a construction site has on the environment or the neighborhood, right? For many months.
Facuro's solution is incredible, but it's not the only one. Let's go back to CTEC.
Well, now we're at the Procero building. This is a solution that was led by the company Eterna in collaboration with Vulcan, Melon, and Multiacero. The solution is a building, as you can see, with 5 floors. We can see where the joints are. That's what allows us today to be able to assemble and disassemble this solution. Part of the relevant things we can see here is that these are solutions that can be scaled quickly, which today are already available as a construction solution for the families of Viña del Mar. A pilot project was also done there. And as we see here, we have a solution that uses 2 modules per floor and comes with the staircase already built in. Therefore, it's also already a much faster process.
Just like Momentum, it's made up of modules. But the most striking thing here is that only its slabs are concrete and the walls are partition walls. And no, they're not fragile. On the contrary, extremely strong. This technology has already been applied for years in the construction of private homes, even luxury ones. The real novelty is using it for emergency housing and in high-rise buildings. Now we're at the Eterna factory to see the production of these modules from the inside.
Eterna, well, we're dedicated to making modular structures. Mainly the base material is steel and concrete, and this works with a Meccano system. We don't use wet joints, all the joints are rigid. The advantage of the complete module is that it's monolithic, more resistant basically. It allows us to calculate not only the entire building, but it allows us to calculate each element that makes up the module. That's on one hand, and on the other hand, it allows us to arrive at the construction site with a much more finished product. The walls are partition walls and the slabs are concrete. Today we're doing both private and social category buildings. We're in the social world, in emergency housing, DS49, DS19. We set a goal as Eterna that all our buildings have an energy efficiency category A. And in some cases we've reached AA in emergency housing, even though that category isn't required. A D or E category might be requested. We always try to achieve much higher energy efficiency categories.
On this channel, I always take you to incredible places, guys, and if you want to keep discovering Santiago with me, I need your help. You can support me by liking this video, commenting, and sharing it. The Super Thanks button is still available if you'd like to buy me a coffee. It's a voluntary contribution, but very important to me, and of course, a special thanks to all the channel members. Guys, you know, without your support, creating these videos would be impossible. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And now let's continue. The Construy Zero Technology Program brings together 38 companies and institutions from the public and private sectors, as well as academics, who have achieved incredible results in the way they build. For example, there is a 98% reduction in energy used, a 97% savings in water, 86% fewer residues, and construction times that are about 90% lower than with traditional methods. I think it's fantastic.
Well, now we're arriving at the latest innovations or projects we have in the program. This is the solar wind tower that we've developed with Cleanlight. This tower, as we can see, has a solar part that allows us to generate more energy in the northern areas of the country today, but the company was also interested in seeing how we could test this with a wind solution, thinking of southern Chile. The solution today is also allowing us to measure everything that's generated, and at the same time review it on a dashboard with information where we can say, you know what, I'm consuming more solar energy, I'm consuming more wind energy, and next week the tower will be in southern Chile at another of our projects in Temuco.
And the coolest thing is that if you're linked to the world of construction, you can also live this experience.
Yes, it can be visited. You can write to us through our website to schedule visits with your companies, with your collaborators, with your students, and also if you're a company that has this interest in innovating, has an idea, and would like to materialize it, come to CTEC and we can help you. See how we can test it here, see if funds are required, if you can join any of the funds we're applying for today, or in experimentation mode. We have multiple services in which we can support companies in the sector.
And that's how we finish, guys. At the end, I really hope you enjoyed and liked our very innovative tour. A tremendous place, the CTEC Technology Park, an incredible initiative, Construy Zero. We are truly building the future here with our own hands, and it's worth highlighting projects like this because they help us experiment, because to innovate means to experiment. And this is where real estate companies, construction firms, and architects can experiment with their ideas, with prefabricated housing, with industrialized solutions to bring us closer to a much more interesting future, much more innovative, much more comfortable, and of course, fairer. Take care, guys, and see you soon.